Hello, welcome to 3D Printer Fixing It Forward. Before I start, I would just like to explain what this is about. Some time ago I was talking to a representative from BIQU on the internet about what happens to 3D printers that are returned to the manufacturer by customers who either can't understand how to use them, or it arrives broken or with an issue that they can't solve. I was quite shocked to find out that to actually send the printers back to China isn't cost effective. So what tends to happen is they go back to the distributor and they're destroyed. Now, I thought this was a waste of machinery, apart from anything else, or spare parts. So I came up with a plan. I spoke to representatives at BIQU and they have sent me 2 BIQU Magicians that have been returned to the distributor for unknown issues. My plan is to look at these 2 machines. There is possibly a third one on the way. As yet, I'm not sure. I'm going to look at these machines, see what's wrong with them, see if I can fix them, and then I will gift them to my local school. So the plan is I fix them forward. It's like paying forward, where you pay for somebody else's shopping in a queue or something like that. My intention is to take these machines, make them safe, make them work, and then pass them on to the school so the children can use them in technology or something like that. So that's the plan. In today's video, all we're going to do is look at the 2 machines that have come to me direct from the distributors. BIQU have sent me these machines. They have paid for the shipping to get from the distributors to me, so I thank you, BIQU, very much for that and for understanding what I'm trying to do here. So what we'll do now is we'll get the 2 machines up on the desk. We'll take them out of the boxes and we'll see a cursory glance over them, see the issues, and then we can make a plan going forward as to how we're going to attempt to fix them. Whether I can fix them both cost effectively, I don't know. Whether I need to use parts from one to fix the other, I don't know. But in this first video, we will just have a cursory glance over them and see what needs doing. So let's take a look. So here are the 2 boxes. That's me in the middle. Hello. So put one of these down on the floor. I must remember, as far as I'm aware, the shipping company haven't opened the box, the distribution company haven't opened the box, BIQU certainly haven't opened the box. These have come straight back from the purchasers to the storage warehouse and then been sent on to me. So with the first one, we'll cut the tape around the top of the seal. I have no idea what I'm going to find when I open this. It could be just a box of bits. It could be half a printer. It could be a brick. Who knows? Right, that's the tape off. Remove the lid. Let's get a look. Right, first things first, that's a good start. The foam is on the top, so at least they've bothered to put that back in. And I can see there is a bit of a printer inside here, so that's good. It's a red one. It looks fairly clean on first glances. What have we got in here? So there's the power supply, which appears to have never been untangled. We've got the roll of filament. We've got a bit of a torn bag. We have the printer. Now it would appear, looking at the build surface, that this printer has been printing, so that's a good start. We also have another power supply in here. Now I'll explain about that in a moment. I know there's 2 power supplies in this one. I shall explain to you. There's even a little spare nozzle in the bottom. So that's the contents of the box. As I said, the build plate itself has clearly had something printed on it, which means the printer has worked at some point. There is some filament. You can't see that because I can't get it into the camera. There is some filament on the end of the nozzle, so it would appear that they have attempted a print on it. Just having a look. I suspect, and I could be wrong, but I suspect this could be an issue with the auto bed leveling. I do know that some people do have problems getting the auto bed leveling to work because the instructions aren't the easiest to understand. and I think maybe this has been the issue with this machine, so they've just packed it up and sent it back. I might be wrong, we might find other issues when we power it up, but my first thoughts are that's the problem. It appears most of the parts are here. The spare nozzles, the spare throat, the SD card appears to be there. The SD card reader appears to be there. Everything seems to be there. Whether they've done the firmware update, I don't know. The sensor's there for the auto bed leveling. So everything appears to be in the box. Like I say, they have appeared to have been able to print something or attempt to print something. It doesn't look like they've had a great deal of luck. Looking at that, there are some quite heavy scores in this plastic, which would to me suggest that it's a bed leveling issue. Like I say, it's not the easiest thing in the world to understand out the instructions, but once you get your head around them, it's very simple. The reason why there are two power supplies, when BIQU first started distributing this machine, they had an issue with the original power supply. The manufacturer of the power supply, which wasn't BIQU, had a fault, which meant some, and only some, not all, some of them had an issue with them actually catching fire, which of course BIQU weren't at all happy about. They sent out replacement power supplies straight away to everybody that had bought them. New machines that were in stock at places like Amazon, once they'd sent the machine out, they sent a power supply out either the same day or the next day. So generally they caught up with each other, so by the time you got your machine, I know with mine, when I got my machine, the same day the new power supply turned up. My only issue is I can't remember which is the new one and which is the old one, which is possibly faulty. I will reach out to BIQU. I'm sure they'll be able to tell me which is which, because I certainly don't want to send a machine to the school that might have an issue with the power supply. But the first looks of this machine, nothing major wrong with it. There's no obvious signs of breakages anywhere. It looks very clean and tidy. Apart from this issue with the build surface, I think that's down to not being able to understand how they do the bed leveling. So fingers crossed, this could be a real easy fix. But we'll bob all this back in the box, we'll get the other unit up, we'll open that up and we'll have a look and see what we can see with that one. Right, so now we'll reach down, we'll pick up the second one. Same thing again, nobody's seen this. It's all taped up. I'll just get my Stanley blade all the way around, just to make sure we get it cut nicely. Just going to turn the volume down on my machine so we don't get any echo or feedback. Right, so that's lid off. Nothing written on it that'll give me an idea why it was returned. But again, we start with the foam on the top, so that's a bonus. Look, foam on the top still, and there's definitely some kind of printer in there. So again, that's a bonus. And it's another red one. Appears to have all its bits in the bottom. Not particularly well packed, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Right. We have a box of bits. We have one power supply this time. Now that could help me to decide which is which, because I would imagine that's probably the wrong power supply. Like I say, I will check with BIQU, I will make sure, and I will in some way try and find a power supply. If this one is the wrong one, I will try and get hold of a power supply that is safe and correct, because like I say, I'm certainly not sending a machine to the school that I'm not happy is safe. Again, build plate, they've attempted to print on it. So that again tells me that it's more likely a user issue than a machine issue. There is an absolutely massive dent. I don't know whether the camera can pick that up here. There is a massive dent in the plastic which goes right the way through the plastic build surface. So again, to me, I am going to presume that is a sensor issue. There is also glue on the Perspex build surface at the bottom. There. There's glue on that as well. So they've clearly tried to print onto that as well. That screw you don't want to worry about. That's for the spool holder at the top. The bag appears to have the throat in it. There's two. All the parts appear to be there. SD cards in there. Everything appears to be in place. Like I say, the power supply may be the issue. That may be the incorrect power supply. May need to do something about that. But overall, looking at the printer, there doesn't seem on the surface to be any great mechanical issue that I can see. It appears to have full motion, but of course until I switch them on I don't know. But first thoughts, you see, again you won't be able to see this, but first thoughts is it's a user error rather than anything else. The bottom of that sensor, you can see that mark, that's a dent. That tells me that this nozzle has smashed into the bed because possibly, and I'm just putting it out there, possibly the user didn't read the manual properly, didn't understand the manual properly, and has been unable to correctly level the bed, and that's been the issue. They've got wound up with it, decided that they don't want to do this anymore, and they've just sent it back, which is what happens. So it's entirely possible that both these printers really need a bit of a clean. I might need one power supply. This foam pad looks like it's been through the walls. That has clearly been on a machine at too high a temperature. That is melted. You possibly can't see. The idea is that when you do the leveling, you sit this pad onto the hot end. But you can only do that when the hot end is cold. You do that when the hot end is hot, it melts the foam. And that's clearly what's happened to that one. Somebody couldn't be bothered to wait for the hot end to cool down, has rammed that on, and that's what's caused that issue. So hopefully this could be a very, very short series of videos. It could be that in the next one, when I power them up and do tests with them, we might find that they're both perfectly capable machines. We may need to try and find a power supply for one of them, but apart from that, maybe some more foam pads, because they appear to have used them up. I could probably get a set for both machines, as long as the sensor's alright. If the sensor's at fault, I can order another one of those, and we see where we go. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you taking the time to look at these. Look out for the next video in this series where we will attempt to power these machines up and see if we can get them printing and check whether there are actually any issues, or whether it is just a user issue, which is what I'm inclined to believe. But this is the travesty of this, is that if there's nothing wrong with these two machines other than the fact that it was user error and the user couldn't get the machine to work, these perfectly good machines are being sent back to the distributors and destroyed. And to me, it's an unfortunate end to something which could be quite useful to somebody. So hopefully next video we'll get these powered up, see if there's any more issues with them. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, leave a comment in the description. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. Hit the little bell button, that'll let you know when I put content out. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can do. There are links in the description to Patreon and to Streamlabs, where you can leave a donation. Those donations that are left directly as part of these videos will go towards, if I need a new power supply, which I think I probably will, they'll go towards that. They'll go towards buying some foam pads and anything else. Any other money that gets sent directly off the back of these videos will go towards filament or something like that. That if I can get these two up and running and there's a bit of money left over, I'll chuck in some rolls of filament for them as well to get them on their way, and hopefully get some new young people interested in 3D printing. Anyway, until the next video, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.